So thank you guys for being here. We're going to be talking about the Club Managers Association of America student chapter at MTSU. And so to give you guys a rundown of what the meeting is going to look like today, we're going to start by talking about general information about CMAA, what the organization is, what the benefits of membership are, kind of what makes it exciting, what makes it a great opportunity for students to get involved in. We're going to also discuss what specifically the student colony of the CMAA looks like and what's the difference between a student colony and a student chapter, participation, dues, all that kind of information. Then from there, we're going to kind of transition from what it looks like from the CMAA perspective to what do we do from MTSU side? How do we get the student organization started? What does student leadership look like? And then kind of the timeline to get the organization going, hopefully for this fall, so that way we can hit the ground running, get students really excited, get students interested in joining this amazing organization. So without further ado, I am going to let Ms. Peterson and Mr. Seabrook take over and tell us about CMAA.
Thank you.
But let me make you co-host in case you have anything too.
Good to go? Okay. Thank you all for having us here. I'm Ellie Peterson. I'm the banquet manager at Bellmead Country Club. And then we have Mr. Seabrook, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Good. Michael Seabrook, I'm general manager at Bellmead Country Club, and happy to be here today. Hopefully we can share all the great benefits of the CMAA.
Yes, so we're really looking forward to starting a student chapter at MTSU. And with that being said, I would be the liaison, the CMAA liaison with you all. So the Club Management Association of America is what CMAA stands for. So joining CMAA would help students with professional development, mentoring, networking, internships, education, and you get to go to conferences. I think a big part of CMAA is definitely the networking. I think Mr. Seabrook could agree to that. Just having meeting management, working with us, and then being able to find, I was not a part of CMAA in college because we didn't have a colony, but I wish I was, because I would have gotten a job probably right out of college if I was in a CMAA chapter, because it's really great benefits. But as well as networking, there's also scholarships that are with the CMAA, the Club Foundation. It's called the Joe Purdue Scholarship, and it provides financial support to students in this hospitality industry. The only requirement is that you have to be enrolled it has to be a sophomore, and then you have to be enrolled in a 4-year institution and maintain a 2.5 or 4.0 GPA. And other than obviously education, there's a lot of fun things that go along with CMAA. I think also Mr. Seabrook would agree with. We get to have a lot of fun dinners. We do a lot of great education. You learn a lot. I just think it's a really great establishment. So I think you all should you'd be interested in it. Mr. Seabrook, would you like to add anything?
It really is, it's all about meeting people. And I just have found that kind of over the years, the more people you meet in things in the hospitality business or whatever you choose to do, the better it's going to be, because you never know down the road who you're going to meet, where you're going to meet them, how it might get you another great opportunity. It's happened, thankfully, for me on several occasions. And the catalyst for me was the CMAA. Starting a colony is a big first step, I think, for MTSU, just to get this whole thing started. We have a local chapter. I say local, it's the state of Tennessee. It's called the Volunteer Chapter. And I believe we have 42 members, but all the big clubs in the state of Tennessee are members, and it's an opportunity, I think, for the students to come to these clubs, come to the meetings, take tour of the meetings, have lunch with us, ask questions with the different departments about kind of what you do. And it won't take you long before you realize there's so many opportunities in clubs, more than what you just think it is. So that's what I wanted to add.
And with that being said, with Mr. Seabrook, from the club I was at before this, my GM knew Mr. Seabrook through CMAA, so then that was a good reference for me to get into this club. So just kind of with that being said. So moving on to starting a student colony. So we need to have a minimum of 10 students in the colony, and it has to be for 2 years. And throughout that whole 2 years, there always has to be a minimum of 10 students. The dues are $25 a student, which to me is pretty affordable. I don't think that's too bad. So after 2 years, a petition is formed. The student chapter is forwarded to the chapter member services for approval by the CMA Board of Directors. And that's for if you get approved or not. And then within 3 years of having the chapter, the university must add a club management class to the curriculum. So that's very important for us to keep in mind. Let's see. Dr. Whalen, do you have any questions so far?
I think one of the great questions Ashley had asked earlier, and I think it goes very well with what we're talking about here, is what would that student colony look like here, and how does that differ from being a student member of CMAA General? So how does it kind of the advantage of having the student chapter on campus?
Mr. Seabrook, could you help me with this one?
Sure. Again, I think it's like people with like people. So you get to learn, you'll get to see different clubs and participate in chapter meetings, not only on campus, but also with us. Like I mentioned to Dr. Whalen, we would love to host the first tour that you all take to, again, show you all the aspects of what it takes to run a club, get a nice lunch, answer any questions that you have, and really just tour the facility. So to me, the benefits are you're going to be with like people. You're going to learn about the club industry, which, and I think it's our fault. I think a lot of folks don't know a lot about the club industry. And this is one of the reasons why I'm interested in it, because we want to educate students about the club industry and just what a great career it is. People don't realize what a great career it is, and just the opportunities and the places you potentially could live because of working in a club. So those are just some basic things.
Yeah. And I also wanted to point out that, this is the first hospitality organization we would be looking at. And the reason why I picked clubs over doing something more hotels or restaurants related, which tend to be the streamlined of, oh yes, hospitality, hotels and restaurants, is that the skills are so transferable between these three spheres. But CMAA provides such a strong foundation as an organization that supports education and supports student chapters, that the opportunities here, even if you choose to go into other aspects of hospitality, are so crucial to learn from the networking perspective to the opportunities to the way operations and management works. It works very similarly. The really big difference is who you're serving, which, you're serving members as opposed to transients, which is one of the, and governance, but we can talk about governance later, but really that's the huge difference. But the skills are so transferable, seeing clubs, understanding the operations of clubs, opportunities for internships, jobs, employment opportunities, all of that is included in being part of this. And then also, because there is a volunteer chapter of CMAA here in the Tennessee area, there's so many different clubs that want to get involved. They want to do tours and I've been to quite a few of them. I think Belmead is one of the most beautiful, just my opinion, of course, not just because you guys are here. I just think it's really beautiful. I'm just getting those opportunities to be a part of a bigger organization and be a part of something where you can have a kind of culture and world within MTSU that also transcends beyond that. And this is something I was also talking about earlier, and Ashley can attest to this. You can also meet with other chapters of CMAA across the country, stay with them, see their clubs, meet with their local chapters. It's really a way to build a network with other students as well as with providers and people who are involved in the club's world.
And another great way to do that, to meet other students, would be with the World Conference, which, Mr. Seabrook, where is that this coming year? Is that in?
It's going to be in San Diego in 2022.
So that's another great way to network with students and managers. So
yeah, and that's rotating. And you do some fundraising, get some scholarships working to try to help afford these trips and getting out there. And then also the student chapters kind of compete with each other too. So best chapter awards, recognition awards, scholarship opportunities, publication opportunities. There's a lot going on to really make yourself stand out. And when you're looking for those jobs and internships, whether you're in school or after, being part of CMAA, putting that on your resume is a huge deal.
So,
I think a lot of students that have gone to the World Conference are kind of like, at that point, they're like, oh, now I kind of see, because you meet lots of different people, different levels in club management, but you also meet other students, as Dr. Whalen just mentioned. And I think that's kind of neat, because you can talk about, hey, what are your goals? What do you want to do? And I think everybody helps one another. To me, that's one of the biggest benefits of the CMAA, is the fact that I can call anybody in the country, actually the world, who's at a club, and ask them about, tell me what you do about, how do you handle golf tournaments, for example, with entries for golf tournaments. And there's no secrets, they'll tell you. It's not like that in every industry. And I think sharing that knowledge is one of the benefits of our association.
which I think was really helpful, especially during the pandemic we are going through currently. So, which I think you would attest to, Mr. Seabrook.
Yeah, lots of collaboration. And this is also really great for event students too. Clubs have a lot of events, member events especially, but even non-member events, because they have the facilities for it. So there are events, staff members who their whole job is events, whether it's children's events, all the way up to weddings, to corporate events, hosting the catering. What are you going to do? What does that look like? So whether you're in events and hospitality, or, I always encourage tourism as well, because if you really want to understand tourism, you should understand all the aspects of what bring people to the table. And the rec side of clubs is so huge that plays a big role in how would you advertise this to transient if you weren't in a club and you were doing that same kind of thing. So Ashley, so far, any questions about CMAA? Now, I know you were also in the class when we talked to Mr. Seabrook about clubs and all they have. And I very strongly believe and support the club industry and what it does for us within tourism and hospitality. Other things so far to add?
At some point, obviously, we'll have to elect student leaders. There will be a president, a vice president, a secretary, and a treasurer. So we'll have to think about that before while we get the ball rolling, just something to think about.
Yeah, actually, you bring up a really great point. So one of the differences that's going to exist between this club and the tourism club is the tourism is kind of a Wild West. We're starting from scratch. Southeast Tourism Society has not had a club before, which is really exciting. I'm really pumped about that. One of the advantages of doing CMAA at the same time is they do have the structure already existing. You're not going to have to make the charter and the bylaws. They already exist. So basically, we are taking the materials and adapting for the student organization. It's ready to go. That package is ready to go. It just has to be established with the university. So let's kind of look at what we would need to do from the MTSU side. From the MTSU side, the interest has to come from the students. I can be interested till I'm blue in the face, but if we don't have the students who want to be a part of this, then we really can't move forward. So the goal over the summer is hopefully we get some students who are interested in establishing the organization with the university. Of course, that would be with my help as faculty advisor and with Ellie's help, the liaison between CMAA, providing all that material that we can provide to the university saying, hey, we're going to do this organization. Here's our charter. Here's our bylaws. Here are the different steps we have to take. There is a website. MTSU has a lot of really great support for getting organizations off the ground, and they have an entire team of members who will help students get the organization started as well. So our goal is over the summer to get the students who are going to say, you know what, I want to take on the leadership role. And for this first year, whatever students want to step up, great, it's yours. And then we can start doing elections starting in year 2. So if we don't get 10 students over the summer, the goal over the fall would be to do recruitment to make sure we have our 10 students and to have both those social and the CMAA events, get students interested and engaged, get them involved, get them out to Belmead, be able to really experience this in person, because we're so excited to be back on campus in person, not just having these constant Zoom meetings, so we can really hit the ground running and get moving. Because one of the other cool things is clubs never stopped. Hotels had to close, restaurants had to close, clubs it was a whole nother ballgame. And so clubs have been moving the whole time, and it's just ramping up more. So there's just a lot of really cool opportunity there.
Well, I want to add to that, not only did we not stop moving, but I think there was about a 3-week time, not 2-week time that there were some things that closed down, but I think the difference between a club and the hotels and so forth is the clubs took care of their employees. So everybody was paid during that time. And that's something that I'm thankful for as an employee. I know Ellie, we've talked
Very
about it,
thankful.
she's thankful for. And that's just the kind of support that you get with the club, which is nice. I want to also mention about those leadership roles and really how important that is. You're going to get out of it what you put in it. And I think being a part of, especially starting that colony, being part of that leadership is really big. And when you're looking for a job and you can say that you were, ground floor at one of the leadership roles, that's huge. That puts you kind of ahead of a lot of people.
Yeah, when you have a 1 to 2 page resume, you need something to make you pop. And this is one of those things. I started the first THM organization at U of H. I'm in my old world. First student organization at MTSU. And I was part of this starting of the colony that eventually became a chapter. So those are big things to put on the resume. It's a great storytelling, great personal branding. And part of the reason it's going to be great for that is because you will grow so much in that role that you live up to the title of the things that you're accomplishing. And it's not hard work. It's just, you have to want it. You just have to be passionate about it, be excited about it, and it'll happen. And there are so many people who want to support you along the way to make that happen.
And Dr. Raylan, I can share this. I don't know if I've already shared this with you, but send this so the students can see it. It's the package for the student chapter officer. It has a lot of great information in it. If they just want to kind of like read it on their own to see what it's all about as well. So I can send that to you after this and then maybe you can post it for them if that's.
I love it. Let's do that.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
But the mentoring is the last thing real quick is the mentoring side of it, especially when there are internships involved. It is very specific about what you're going to learn, the things that you're going to learn while you're here. We have a pretty outlined program that gives you the opportunity to learn everything about the club and the aspects of it. So, and I just think that's a great opportunity. It's even more so if you do have a colony at your club, at the university.
Awesome. Any other thoughts? Ashley, any thoughts, ideas, anything? I don't want to put too much on you because
Thank you for being here, Ashley.
Yeah, you're awesome, Ashley. Thank you.
She is awesome. I can attest to that. Well, I didn't want to make this meeting too long. I just wanted to kind of get the information out there. This is a starting point. Hopefully we'll get some information from people who are watching afterwards. If you're interested, make sure you reach out to me so we can get this club rolling and moving. And if nothing else, if we don't get it started this summer, we'll definitely be moving in the fall. And we'll have an in-person information session where we can hopefully get people together in the same room and get moving on that too. But in the meantime, if you are interested, because we have a lot of the materials, we only need 1 or 2 or 3 people to at least get it started with the university, which is step 1. So getting us registered with MTSU. All right. Well, thank you
so much
for your time. I really appreciate it. I'm really looking forward to it. And I think we're going to have an amazing organization here.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. So great. Thank you. Looking forward to it.
Thank you. Good luck with exams, everybody.
Yes.
Yeah. End of the summer.
Bye, Ashley.
See you, Ashley. Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you.